Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. In tonight's episode, actually, this is the midday episode. This is the pre-episode to the full episode later, because we are still breaking down all the stupid that was in this Senate Judiciary Committee. And this clip we're going to show you right now and break down, I haven't seen anywhere else. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and this is going to blow your mind because Muskets are about to make an appearance. Now, of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And this content, you got to check out this giveaway by Vanish Holsters, and then we are going to hit. My brothers and sisters, I am excited to bring you what I think is the biggest giveaway that I've ever seen on this channel, and it's brought to you by Vanish Holsters. Now, Vanish Holsters is made for the everyday American concealed carry patriot, not the upper echelons of the gun world. We're talking somebody who wants to have a gun, have it be comfortably stored, and safely stored to protect themselves and those that they love. This is the most comfortable holster that you're ever going to wear. This is a 48-inch belt that fits universally to anybody, and it's completely ambidextrous. It has a no stink material, and it fits up to a 46-inch waist. This is something that you're going to want to check out. Look at this. They are launching the biggest giveaway I have ever had on this channel. They are giving one of you this incredible Jeep Gladiator and $25,000 worth of gold thanks to Vanish. To enter, all you have to do is click the link in the description and get yourself the most comfortable holster you've ever worn, and Vanish is hooking you up. Get $40 off now when you use my link in the description box. All right, so we all know pretty fairly that, the gun controllers have one thing in mind and one thing on the brain only, and it's about controlling guns. And they will say some of the dumbest things that you could possibly imagine in order to scare people into giving up their rights. I don't think that they'd have any problem with taking this freedom fire thrower right here, this flamethrower, on the Constitution, because it's about safety. But anyway, let's get to a senator. This is a senator on the Democratic side. We are about to explore muskets, people. Muskets. Those common sense weapons of bygone era, because it just made so much more sense and did less damage there. I'm not making this up. Everything's linked. All right. I'm going to do this a little out of order because this is the punch right here.
And not to belabor the point too much, but have you ever witnessed multiple injuries by musket, which was the firearm of choice at the time the Second Amendment was drafted?
I don't know that I've ever seen a musket wound.
Yeah. And I think the founders may well have had enough common sense to understand that in the time it takes to reload a musket, if somebody were going berserk in a tavern or at a musical performance, there'd be plenty of time to intervene, and that something categorically different takes place when an individual has access to weapons that either are or can be configured to fire rapid fire and to fire ammunition of an entirely different and more destructive nature because of the speed with which the projectile flies. So,
yes. I don't even know where to begin on this one. Let's just dive in from the end backwards because I heard that last and it's easier. Muskets do less damage than a 5.56 or a 2.23 if you're a sportsman. Let's just break this down. Muskets, they were almost 50 caliber rounds. They were pretty big diameter balls that fired pretty good velocity. I'm pretty sure that the idea that a 2.23 or a 5.56 traveling at high velocity is going to dramatically change the difference from the impact of a 50 caliber round or larger, depending on where you're going, because these things were all different calibers because there was no universal size. Some were larger, some were smaller. So let's just analyze that one for a second. Muskets, not as powerful or as dangerous, as destructive as a 5.56 bullet, one of them. Now, the next thing, we're going to go back on our Wayback Time Machine from when he just mentioned this. We can talk about reloading. So his whole point here was, well, muskets were single-shot weapons. And after all, the founders knew that if something was going down and something crazy, you would be able to intervene because the time that it takes to reload one shot of a musket. Well, so now what you're saying is, because the founders had musket technology back in the day, we can only have single-shot firearms now. Is that what you're implying, dear sir? Senator, I'll be respectful. Because that seems to be a bit of a slip and an omission of what your true intentions are. Not to mention the fact that we can go back into the 1800s where we started to have repeating rifles show up on scene. We had all sorts of firearm technology expand in the early 18, mid 18, and late 18th or 19th century, the 1800s. So that one kind of goes out the window. And that's just the first clip. Now, here's the big thing that I want to drive home, and I might get long-winded on this. These are meant to be shorter in the middle of the day. But if your entire point is to do something, why are you talking about this? Because you're not trying to do anything. You're trying to scare people with insane imagery, like a musket being less dangerous than a 5.56, which is a thing. But now, let me show you how he started this bad boy off, because that's worth time by itself.
What is the experience like of the ambulance pulling up into the bay and somebody coming into your hands with gunshot wounds, particularly multiple gunshot wounds, and perhaps, if you can identify it, even high-speed projectile AR-15 type gunshot wounds?
The likelihood of saving someone's life depends on both where they are shot and how many times they are shot. I have seen, again, although I cannot identify types of ammunition or types of firearms in the emergency department, that's not my training, and we don't know that at the time. I have seen organs shredded, aortas bisected, and obviously have seen folks with gunshots to the brain as well.
Okay, so let's just break down this guy's insanely weird fascination by asking a doctor, what's the experience like? Can you tell the difference between high-speed ammunition from an AR-15 and a pistol? Okay. For her response going into, I've seen aortas bisected and organs demolished. Okay, that will happen with pretty much anything. A 9mm 40, the dreaded 40. 45 occasionally. You know, like, there's lots of reasons why these projectiles are effective. It's because it's a hunk of lead moving quickly against a soft target. The idea that you want to say, like, ooh, well, you know, I personally can't tell what type of ammunition or firearm was used, but those AR-15s sure are scary. The guy can't even go into what he's talking about. He has no idea. So he's asking a medical doctor, tell me more about how scary these high-velocity rounds are, not knowing that there are quite literally pistols that have higher velocities than AR-15s. He has no clue what he's talking about. It's just asinine beyond measure, and goodness gracious. But the weird doesn't stop here, people, and this is just the first Democrat response inside this. So let's get into the next question, which is also a little weird.
Suffice it to say that knife wounds and beating injuries are customarily easier to treat than gunshot wounds, and particularly multiple gunshot wounds.
That is correct. I'll also say that another senator made a point about suicide. Most suicide attempts we can also save. Suicide attempts by a firearm are almost universally lethal.
Thank you for your input. Okay, so again, this is a sitting senator of the United States. I'm gonna role play this for you. Is it true? Is it true that if a bomb goes off on you, that's actually harder to heal than a paper cut? No kidding. So a knife wound is easier to heal than an actual physical impact of a gun, or a bullet rather? No kidding. Congratulations, you landed the plane. This guy just compared having a knife injury with multiple gunshot wounds in an effort to effectively scare people who aren't paying attention on how deadly guns are. Notice how this guy is touching on ARs, but he's also going towards the normal function of any pistol as well. This is bigger than just what they were genuinely talking about, and that's why I've got this. And I've got so many more clips coming. Make sure you are buckled up because we got more freedom to spread. I hope you guys enjoyed. Everything is linked in. I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.